Hello, and welcome to today's LinkedIn Live session. We're so glad you're here. I'm Alex, and today we're diving into a topic that's top of mind for every forward-thinking procurement leader: the evolution of category management in the age of digital transformation. Category managers are expected to deliver more than just cost savings. They're expected to make data-backed decisions, align with evolving business priorities, and optimize the entire sourcing lifecycle, and do it with speed and precision. This is why digital transformation isn't a buzzword anymore. It's a business imperative. At GEP, we're proud to be leading the charge with our AI-powered solutions. Our software is designed to empower category managers with the tools they need to operate smarter, faster, and more strategically than ever before. To explore this topic further, I'm thrilled to be joined by someone who lives and breathes digital transformation, Rakhi Mullick, Vice President of Digital Transportation at GEP. Rakhi brings over 25 years of experience in procurement, supply chain, and source-to-pay transformation. She's been on both sides of the table as an industry leader and as a technology expert, and has helped countless enterprises build their digital strategies from the ground up. Rakhi, welcome. We're excited that you're here today. Let's kick things off. Can you start by sharing your perspective on how the role of the category manager has evolved over the past few years?
Hey, thanks, Alex, for this discussion. Yeah, so the role of the category manager we have seen has really evolved, or rather, considerably evolved and transformed over the years. And for example, earlier it was more about cost management and supply management, and maybe some bits of contract execution. But today the expectation is end-to-end category management, end to end. So which means a lot of factors like sustainability, supply management and risk, or market intelligence on that category, like geopolitical issues, what are the changing policies that are happening. For example, the recent one on the US tariff, what could those tariff changes in the particular countries that you're sourcing from impact on your category, the compliance, the KPIs, all this you're expected to know end to end in the category management role today. Now, given that this role has evolved so much, it's not easy, while the role has evolved, but the category manager is still facing a lot of challenge to, meet up to this expectation. So, for example, the category manager does not have an end-to-end visibility sometimes of, all this kind of information that I was just speaking about, sustainability policies, KPIs, etc. Sometimes there's a very slow response to the changing market condition, or or there could be a lack of alignment with the complex business objectives, or maybe an inadequate understanding of the cost models or the price predictions. So overall, the strategic approach, which does not just involve savings but involves a value and innovation, all this for the category manager to deliver, it's a big challenge. Now that is on the role perspective, but then there are technology implementation challenges too that we have seen in multiple clients, that the data is all over. It's very limited, it is very disparate, it is the spend data, contracts data, what are the I spoke about the sustainability, geopolitical issues, these policies. It's all the data is in isolation and it is in multiple disparate system. Now that is a real technology challenge. And sometimes some of these data also gives you like reports maybe, but not a action oriented kind of nudging. Then there are also IT dependencies. Now if the category manager wants to work on a change a workflow or make some data changes, there is a dependency on the IT team. And always, if you have seen, you would see that there's always been a focus on structured data. What about the unstructured data? A geopolitical news is unstructured data, but the focus has always been on structured data. So we've seen that while the category manager's role has evolved, in reality, there are challenges for the category manager to even deliver that kind of expectation to the business.
Excellent. That was a very comprehensive description. That sounds like they're dealing with a lot. So let's get into the next question. What are the business priorities and requirements for category managers? And what are the life cycle resources and tools that category managers will need to meet these requirements?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, we spoke about the role of the category manager and what are the tech challenges and challenges. So now, if you see from the business side, in fact, the business priorities would have helped to evolve the role of the category manager also. Like, in other way around, it's like it's interlinked. So the business priorities that have evolved that we have seen with the clients is, the business does not want to just drive savings. Business also wants to maximize the value. What is the ROI of the category? What is the value engineering you're bringing? So they want to see all of that. They also want to see and understand the category risk and how do you navigate through the risk. That's very important. Business also wants to see the strategic activities. They want to see innovative projects getting driven through the category, that a category manager is handling. And they also want to see the end-to-end supplier relationship management, where there is a lot of collaboration with supplier on policies, on sustainability, and there is that collaboration discussion, and then you bring out a solution. So I think the business that we have seen, that business priorities are also evolving and changing, and that is kind of driving the category manager's role to get evolved. And of course it's like a three thing, there's a technology, there's a category management, there's business, it's all has to come together. Okay, so I explained to you the business priorities, how they're evolving and changing, but the business priorities, the role transformation, and challenges that we've just discussed, we see that the following requirements would really help the category manager to navigate through this new evolved role. So basically, the requirements at a high level would be, how do you integrate the data silos? First and foremost, the data strategy. How do you integrate the data silos? And it could be structured data, unstructured data, internal data, external data. Now, once you integrate all the data silos, how do you guide the category manager along the value chain of category management? Example, how do you guide the category manager to build a category strategy with all these data that we have just spoken about? Then once the strategy and all this guiding along the value chain is done, we have to also see how do you streamline the execution. So the tools should have capabilities on execution. How do you streamline the execution? How do you monitor those execution in real time, which is very important, the KPIs and whatever has been identified for the category, how do you monitor it in real time? And then once you monitor all this, how do you help from the tool to support the decisions and the collaborations with all the stakeholders? And along all this, how do you bring more improvement? So it's not just about your category, but how do you bring, example, benchmark, your market intelligence, and help the category manager to improve the entire category management? I mean, that is also a very important requirement in the tools, that we want for the category manager and that we have been building. And along all this, how do you optimize the efficiency and achieve several goals like the sustainable goals, and they're sustainable also. And there are other goals like, for example, now the policy changes, etc. So these goals can evolve also. The tool should be able to take in the new KPIs, new goals, and be able to nudge the category manager through the value chain. I think that is very important for any tool.
Excellent. Thank you. That's so important to know what people should be looking for in the tool that's going to help them be as successful as possible. So along those lines, what is the role of AI in the evolution of category management technology?
That is the, like, I would say, it's like the center and the most important part of this entire evolution that we're talking about, be it the role, be it the priorities, be it the tool. So AI is playing the most pivotal role and making that art of possible today. And so AI always existed for many years now, but with the traditional AI and technology, there was some limitations. For example, how do you kind of balance between savings as well as supply management? Or how do you kind of balance between innovation and also a risk navigation? But now with the new AI, with generative AI, large language models, we have in GP a tool for category management, which is called intelligent category management. And the way we have approached this tool is bringing a digital hub for the category manager, which is AI enabled. It's a 360-degree view for the category manager to drive actions. And it's also imagine like a cognitive engine that that takes in pointers from internal data, from external data. So internal data is, say, the client data. Then external environments, there are a lot of external data, news and other things like geopolitical and other things that we spoke about, policies changes and other things. Then there are also a lot of intelligence within GP from all the experience that we have, last 25 years in procurement, be it understanding of the category through our category advisory groups or deep market intelligence through our market intelligence team. So we bring in all that knowledge also. Now imagine there is external data, internal data, GP knowledge, and we are being able to issue timely recommendation for course correction and risk mitigation. And this is all happening through one orchestrated platform for the upstream procurement, which is like in the category management to start with. Now, this is one example. And in the tool, we are also bringing in agents, for example, in the value chain to help category managers establish and execute strategies, again, balancing cost, risk, sustainability objectives. So these are kind of areas that we have seen that AI and especially the next gen new AI is really being able to be the center of this entire puzzle that we were speaking about, and being able to make things possible for the category manager and increase the productivity efficiency, and the category manager now can focus on more of the strategic things that we spoke about.
That's very insightful. That is really kind of awesome to think about how AI is impacting all these roles so importantly. So how have expectations for category managers shifted with the rise of digital tools and data-driven decision making?
I think we have been discussing something similar in our discussion right now. But if I point out the exact old ways, if I can say, of doing things and the new ways of doing things with digital and I think earlier the, we used to rely, or organizations used to rely a lot on the experience of the category manager and the supplier relationship, or maybe anecdotal insights, if I may say, or run RFPs and just finalize suppliers, negotiate the contracts. It was a very, if I may say, quote unquote, admin kind of a role where you're managing some supply list and contracts, and savings were reported once per sourcing event. But with digital and all the technologies and AI and like I said, the art of possible, now the expectation is, how do you leverage data to build strategies, identify and predict opportunities and risk? How do you design category playbooks and for example, information on make versus buy decision? And it is very, very, very important, for manufacturing, other CPG, retail, life science kind of organizations, and even support innovation. How does category manager support innovation? So how does category manager become an insight generator, interpret the spend trends, generate or say example a what if scenario, and simulate all those and see the cost impact? I think category managers expected to do all of that, and then deliver and track, realize savings, monitor contract compliance, and also optimize it year round. Because you may put a very good contract in place, but when you are actually executing the contract along the value chain in entire source to pay somewhere, some of the value gets lost. So the category manager is really responsible to see how end to end it is delivering value in today's world.
Wow. All right. And back on that AI topic, where do you see AI delivering the most value for category managers today? Is it in the analytics, in the forecasting, in supplier management? Where do you see?
That's interesting. I mean, I would feel everywhere, but okay. So, but yeah, to maybe like all the three are very important, but see, I feel AI has emerged as a silver bullet in this scenario, honestly. There is a realization that we are leaving a lot of value on the table with traditional tech only. Like I was talking to you about, you can put a good contract in place, but what are the commercial clauses all getting, realized? Is the company getting those benefit? So with AI, we are seeing different types of value levers getting unlocked. You know, most important among them being actionable analytics, with most organizations still grappling with fragmented, messy, and siloed data. Like I said earlier, actionable analytics really becomes important. And then AI allows you to spot spend trends, off contract spend, compliance gaps, saving opportunities, and has an effect on many other streams within the category management, the analytics, actionable analytics portion. And of course, it has a knockdown effect on, obviously, into the other two areas that you mentioned in your question, that is forecasting and supply management, where AI can nudge the category manager, like take an action. I'll give you an example. For example, if there is a forecast that a particular indice, of a raw material of a category is getting dropped, uh, and how do you kind of monitor that and go and renegotiate with your, with your supplier? So imagine AI is giving you that nudge, and it happens in our GP, intelligent category management, where the AI, it's giving that nudging to the through the action center to the category manager, that there's a problem here. If there's indice focus looks high or low, you have to go, these are the contracts that are getting impacted, please go and look at it and renegotiate. Or for example, if there's a value leakage in terms of something not getting realized, example, there is a rebate clause in your contract, or a volume discount clause on your contract, but when you're paying to the supplier somewhere in large organizations, it's not got realized. So imagine if AI could pick up that data and be able to tell the category manager, your these contracts, this value got lost in these invoices, so you may want to go and look for a discussion with the supplier. He was overpaid, and do you want to look for a credit note back, or take an action, basically. So I think analytics, AI driven actionable analytics is very, very center and important for this, for the category managers now.
All right. Um, Speaking of all these different examples you've just given, can you give an example of how clients have used our software to improve their processes and increase efficiency?
Yeah, sure. So the intelligent category management tool that I spoke about, particularly from the GP suite of softwares, uh, there are multiple examples. Many clients are using it, and we have a lot of good feedback. I'll give you few examples. For example, we have an action center, where if there is, say, a particular news in the, which is impacting that category, and in the action center, that now there's a news on a particular country where your this category is getting sourced from, and there are contracts or there are purchase orders related to that supply, but this news is going to impact this particular category delivery. So imagine in the action, the agent telling the category manager that, how can you take an act, can you should do something about it. I think this is one example that the clients liked it a lot. And then the entire action center itself, where there are different kind of actions, be it a contract expiring, or reviewing supplier performance or the business requirements, or recommending a next course of action, either a renegotiation or a strategic sourcing initiative. So all this has really helped the clients that we've implemented. And I'll give you one more example of a recent client that we have worked with, where it so the client had multiple very good contracts. And I was just alluding to it earlier about the value leakage. Multiple contracts with lot of good rebate clause, volume discount clause, early payment discounts, many good clauses. But they felt that they were not getting all that value back on the table. So this particular tool, all the AI that we have built in, and all the domain models that we have built using the LLM models and the agentic framework, we are able to pull the data from unstructured PDF files of contract. Okay, so the agent is pulling the data from unstructured PDF contracts, converting into structured data. So be it all the clauses that I talked about, rebate, discounts, etc., and then matching it with the, say, spend, invoice, or whatever that value is, it links with. For example, if it is uh, I want to see what is the rebate that's got lost, then we have to see the invoices that's paid to the vendor, in that particular timeline. Now AI is matching that and telling the category manager that, you know what, you had put this contract, but so much of value got lost in this parameters. So this particular project was very interesting, and the client loved it. And we are implementing it for future more for the other clients too.
Awesome. I love to hear that. Okay, next question. Speaking specifically on that news section of that action portal you were talking about, in the news now are the tariffs coming from the USA. How can category managers use software to help with the impacts of tariffs on their supply chains?
Um, that's a really important question. Yeah, we have been deliberating on it and already started discussion internally to bring that in the tool. So some of the very some of the areas that we think are so imagine if there is a single source, specifically in direct procurement, I would say, specifically in direct procurement. Say there are, single source vendors from a particular country, and the change of tariff is really going to impact. And, maybe the client, say, for example, is sitting in the US, and there's a big impact. So what should be the, kind of alternate source of supplier? Imagine if those kind of intelligence are given to the category manager. Also, for example, what should be then the landed cost coming to, if there is a particular thing that has to still get imported, then the landed cost itself would change for the product. So then there has to be some insights on that, and how do you handle that particular item and that category. So I think from a supplier management, contract management, specifically in direct procurement, and from the countries where it's getting sourced, and impact on both ways for the suppliers, where they are kind of uh, uh, supplying those raw materials or goods, and of course for the client who is wanting to build something out of it and just see what is the landed price like. So the discussions that we have been having, and what we are trying to include in the tool, is within the action center we add that the change in tariff impact across contract, supplier, and finding alternate source of supplier, or even giving benchmarks. How do we add this as an additional feature to the category managers, and kind of even bring the policy, for example, because everybody is absorbing it, right? So bring all that, and give more intel to the category manager to take an informed decision. That's what we have been on the path in the last couple of weeks.
That sounds great and very helpful. All right. And what's next for category management in 2025 and beyond? And where do you see the biggest opportunities for innovation?
Yeah. That's again, that is another journey that we have already started on. So I spoke to you about the intelligent category management, and this is kind of answering your question, and we are also moving in the same journey. So it's entirely agentic framework that we see. Agents are going to replace most parts of category management, and the category manager is going to then do a lot of strategic work and things that they didn't get time to do, and bring in more of the entire ROI and managing the entire PNL for the category. So we see that right from, say, the data, whether it is the data crawling and extraction, agents will get involved, AI agents. Then from bringing in the insight generation via analytical models, where you bring in structured, unstructured data. We are already doing that, but we are taking it more, the experience more as conversational, as the agent also recommending you, and then going through that entire flow. Also, how about making actionable strategy creation? Those agents are also going to be very important in coming up. And most important is the real time collaboration with the super agent. Imagine that super agent is like your deep search. So you're asked, the category manager asks, or writes a prompt, a question, and it could be a complex question, and the super agent knows which other sub agents to invoke, and then give a holistic answer, and also give a point of view that you have asked this, but your normal spend looks like this. So do you want to look at something else, because this is not how you have normally been buying, or this is not what your data is showing, or this is not what the market conditions are, or what your competition is doing. So we see that it is going to be completely agentic framework. And the good news is that in GP we are already on the journey. We are already kind of completely overhauling the technology of intelligent category management to be completely agentic framework in the end to end of the value chain of category management.
Wow, that sounds like there's a lot coming down the pipe. That's going to be exciting for category managers to use. All right. Well,
Yeah,
we've
but
been
I just want to add one more thing, Alex.
okay.
Sorry. No. So, can I? So, I
Yeah.
just wanted to add one more thing, that while all these agents are there, there is also the human in the loop, which is the category manager. So, the category manager's understanding of this agentic network and being able to, the category manager can still have a decision that overrides, right? So, it is very important for the category manager to keep feeding in that intelligence, and having that, being able to have that personalized recommendation and proactive alerts, etc., very suited for that category manager. So that human in the loop is very important with the category manager role. That's what I just wanted to add.
Yep. Great note. Yes. AI still needs humans. All right. So we've been getting a bunch of questions from the audience. So I think it's time for our Q&A. And if you have a burning question you'd like to add, go ahead and add it in the chat. But we'll get started with some of the first ones that have come through. So, what are some common roadblocks that mid to large size enterprises face when trying to digitize category management, and how can they overcome them?
Yeah, so I would say for the multiple clients that we have worked on, if I summarize, we see that of course multiple sources of data coming from disparate systems. I told you that that's one challenge, common roadblock that we have seen. Rather, when we are implementing the tool, you have to get the data end of the day. So there we see a issue sometimes. Then adoption of tools, especially if it's just giving visibility and no action or nudging, then the adoption becomes lesser. So we have also learned this over time. The actions for the category manager, giving them alerts for the action is very very important here. And if there's low adoption, then again that's a roadblock. And often change management and relevant training and upskilling of resources, become a problem. This is a tool. These AI tools and the GP, intelligent category management, for example, these are all like assistant and agents to the category manager. So even the category managers have to accept those tools and adopt, understand it well, understand the data elements, get the relevant training, and we have to constantly upskill, especially with the AI knowledge. Now with the agents and all, be able to do a good prompting, and those things also. We sometimes see the change management is a challenge, and of course, the organizations really need to invest more on AI training and reskilling procurement organizations. And I feel procurement organization is becoming more, or should rather become more techno-functional. They need to understand AI technology and also the function. So I think organization sometimes the roadblock is because of that, the understanding part. So organizations should invest more on training. Like in today's world, tools have to be helping and guiding the category managers to develop strategies, take actions, and manage KPI, etc., rather than just being insights. So, all that coming together is very important. Otherwise, there is roadblocks.
Yep, that makes sense. All right, next question. How are GEP's software solutions uniquely supporting category managers in today's environment?
Wow, I'm glad somebody asked this question. Interesting question. So, we talked about all these data elements and disparate system and all. Now, so how is GP making it possible? So GP, we have our own AI-enabled self-service data platform, or rather, I can call it as a data pipeline that can ingest, orchestrate, and drive deep insights for internal data, external data, structured data, and unstructured data, and coming from multiple disparate systems. So, what happens? This data platform and pipeline really helps us when we build the intelligent category management tool or any other GP software on top of it, which is called our quantum platform. We leverage this data platform, quantum data platform, and bring in a 360-degree view of not only the visual part, the view part, but also the actionable insights, and then the multiple agents to support along the value chain of category management. So especially when it comes to software for category managers, GP's intelligent category management is continuously kind of sensing various data points that I talked about. And that is possible because we are leveraging the quantum data platform. So it's constantly sensing the various data points, bringing in all the internal external parameters, and that have an impact on the category's cost and risk position. Okay, so what happens is intelligent category management is completely AI enabled. So with multiple agents working along with the category managers to support, it is helping to build strategy, identify potential risk areas, or bring more market insights. So let me explain with a example. Say you're a category manager for sugar, okay, and you're doing most of the sourcing from Brazil, and maybe there is some issue over there, and your delivery is going to get impact. So there is a news about it that there is some issue, or maybe there is a going to be a surge in the indices, or some kind of disruption, and you're getting that news, and that market intelligence news is then linking it with the contracts for sugar that's going to impact your delivery and KPIs, hence the KPIs. And you're then uh, you're asked to do from the action center that why don't you go and look for alternate sources, because there is some issues in your source location from sugar. So those are kind of deep insights that we are bringing through GP software, for the category managers.
All right, those were great examples. And final question we have time for today. As technology continues to evolve, what new skills should category managers be developing to stay ahead?
Yes, I think I was giving some examples of it earlier. I feel category managers and overall procurement organization we should upskill and learn AI models. Basic prompt engineering is very much required. This will help category managers, to work with the agents for mitigating lot of challenges they face. I really believe that category managers have to be, like I said earlier, techno functional. There's no shying away from technology anymore, right from understanding data, which is the core of everything, right from understanding data and have a good data strategy that impacts their relevant category. Every data may not be applicable to every type of category. So for a particular category manager, what is those data strategy? What is the impact on the category? Also understanding the technology, along that you were going to ingest the data or even manage the data for deep insights. Also having an analytical mindset with sound understanding of tools for data. Example, like being comfortable on using, say, spend cubes or configuring their own dashboards and frame insights for delivering a business value. So the category manager upskilling has to be beyond functional in this kind of, I would say, peripheries of technology and especially AI and prompt engineering. And then it will really be very seamless. Adoption will be very easy, and it really help the category manager only at end of the day.
All right. Thank you so much for your time today, Rakhi. And thank you to everybody who joined. If we did not get to your question, we will be following up with you uh, individually to get that answered. And everybody will also be sent a link to the recording of this as well. So, everybody who joined, thank you so much and have a great rest of your day. And Rakhi, thank you so much for your time and your expertise.
Thank you, Alex. Thanks for this discussion. Enjoyed it. And thanks everybody, whoever is listening to this. I hope it brings in some, value. Thank you.